right? And so it's not just our kids, it's me.
Yeah.
When I
Well,
feel
not me and David, so I'm glad it's about you, Bob.
it's just me. It's
Yeah,
just
for real.
me.
This is an intervention, Bob.
Yeah, this is an
Uh,
intervention.
when I fail to accomplish something, I just sigh and say to myself,
Mm.
"Oh, I'm only human." But most of us view this as a bug rather than a feature.
Yeah,
So, how does the Bible tell us that God actually created us to be limited, dependent creatures? And why is that good?
yeah. I mean, the truth is, the reason why I started researching and writing about this, and I've been thinking about for literally over 20 years, is because it's such a challenge in my own life. For me, I get to the end of the day and I hear these voices in my heart and my head saying, Kelly, why didn't you get more done? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I love productivity and efficiency. And those are good things. The problem is when they become ultimate things, they're really destructive. And in our culture, we in the West, we so highly value productivity and efficiency, it distorts all these other things. Um, so the kind of the short biblical argument is that when God made Adam and Eve, I mean, one way to get to this is through the idea of humility. And if you ask,
The idea of what again?
I'm sorry, humility,
Yep.
to be humble. If you ask most Christians, why should we be humble? We often will say because we're sinners. And it's true that we're sinners, but actually biblically, when if you try and build the idea of humility on sin, that's what fosters this idea of self-hatred, right? The only way you're going to grow in humility is by focusing on what a terrible person you are, which actually ironically can be more self-absorbing. So, yes, self-analysis is appropriate, a repentance of sin is appropriate, but biblically, and this gets to your question, if you jump all the way to Adam and Eve and just ask the question, should Adam and Eve have been humble before there was any sin or fall in the world? It's really an interesting exercise to think through because the answer is yes. And so that means their humility shouldn't be based on sin or the fall. And the idea is basically Adam and Eve, as these creatures made in God's image, were made to be dependent on God, dependent on neighbor, and dependent on the rest of creation. Dependent on God, neighbor, and the rest of creation. And so if you just think about how difficult this is for us in our culture, right? If David and I are talking later and he said, "Hey, you met Bob. What'd you think about Bob?" And I was like, "Seemed like a great guy. Also seems like he's really dependent on a lot of people." In our culture, when is saying that someone else is dependent on others a compliment, right? And yet, central to Christian discipleship is growing in healthy dependence on God, neighbor, and a recognition of your dependence on the rest of creation.